Welcome back to a new segment, Shutdown Media, Shutdown Education. You get me? So throughout the segment, we'll interview like different people about their university choices and their degree choices. So there's a lot of diverse degrees that's going to come up. So stay tuned. And Kaza has the honor of being the first person being interviewed.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
Welcome.
Pleasure.
So let's just get right into this, and you get me.
Yeah.
So just introduce yourself, man. Like what do you study and where?
So I study sports psychology at UCFB, which is a franchise university from Buckinghamshire New University. So it's like a partnership. I currently study at Wembley Stadium, which is the campus. So there's three campuses. There's the one at Burnley Stadium, which is called Turf Moor, and the one in Manchester City, which is the Etihad. And then there's the Wembley Stadium one, which is the one I'm at. So yeah.
That's sick. That's sick, man. So do you get to go to games for free or anything like that?
We, there are some FA tickets for like England games, but they're only friendlies.
Oh right.
But I'm presuming that at the other campuses you get tickets to some of the games, but you do get games to like all the local teams in like London and so like all the like low league teams like Brentford, like QPR, and you get ticket like discount percentages off that. So yeah,
That's
good.
pretty sick.
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you done? Like uni?
Nearly final year. I just finished my dissertation.
You got
So
this.
yeah.
Oh, so you
Just
got
finished my
like a couple months left, I guess.
basically, yeah. I've only got like three or four more pieces of coursework to do, and then I'm probably done. So
Oh,
yeah.
sick. So yeah, just like generally, talk about like your experience. How was that being at uni?
I think for me, because I'm commuting from home,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's the total like uni experience of going out and partying all the time and whatever. But I think obviously starting at Wembley Stadium is pretty surreal in a sense because it's like Wembley Stadium, you're looking out
Yeah.
and seeing the pitch, especially if you love football and if you love sport, then it's pretty interesting because you're within the industry of what you want to be working in.
Yeah.
So it's good to get kind of that taste or that feel of it. Um, just first year, probably like most people would say, if you speak to anyone that's been in uni, is like you kind of ease past it really.
Yeah.
But then obviously there is a big jump from first year to second year, especially for me in psychology. Um, I do feel like if you haven't had a background in psychology before going into psychology, like if you haven't done an A level, because my pathway was different because I did a level 3 BTEC extended diploma, which is equivalent to A level, but it didn't really cover like psychology specifically. It covered areas and glimpses of it, but not like specifically how you're doing an A level if you were to choose a subject. So
Okay.
I feel like you are a bit at a disadvantage when you go into first year. Because for me, first year was a bit still kind of difficult, but it was when I compare it to second year, then it was nowhere near difficult.
Okay.
But so I think if someone is out there and they do want to do sports psychology, then it would be more beneficial for you to have. Not saying you can't do it because I'm doing it, but like it would be beneficial for you to like know A level psychology as well, because most of the core like principles within the module are aligned with like psychology at the core, not like branched off psychology. So yeah.
Oh. So let's take it back here, like to like 3 years ago.
Okay.
Let's take it
Obviously,
back,
like
man.
what?
Jacob.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Nah. So basically, like, did you know like you always were gonna go to university, or was it like? Because
um,
like some people like they know for sure they want to go to university, so that was just a set pathway. Well, were you one of those people? Or?
no, I don't think I was one of those people. It was for me like going college was the test of whether I can really go uni or not.
Yeah.
Because it was, for me, like, I wasn't like as bright, and when it came to like GCSEs, I didn't have like all A stars or A's and stuff. And I wasn't one of those guys where I was like, I didn't need to revise for GCSEs. I kind of did need to revise for GCSEs like properly. So it's like in my head, what my thinking was, if I had to like kind of really study hard for GCSEs, even though like now it seems like it was nothing, then like there's no like not no point, but it'll be difficult for me to see myself achieving a good grade when it comes to uni.
Yeah.
So that was my thinking at the time when I was in high school and when I was going to college. And plus, college had more of an opportunity for like football and like training and being part of a team. And they had links with like QPR and stuff because it was like a development thing.
Yeah.
So, and they had links to like semi-professional teams, and if you were good enough, maybe you could get scouted. Even though that hadn't happened in so many years, it was still like an opportunity to like kind of test myself and train while I still played, train and learn at the same time.
Oh, so you studied and you played football at the same time?
Yeah. So, like, how the timetable would work? Would you have your training would always be in the morning, and then Wednesdays it would be a day off from college, and like that would be our match day. So similar to like a uni timetable where you'd have those certain days off, but you'd go in for like, I don't know, like an extracurricular activity.
Yeah.
So college was the same way, except like Tuesdays we would train, Mondays we would train, and then Wednesdays would be match days, and then Thursday, Friday would be a full day at college. So that's how I'd be prioritized. So yeah, at that time I didn't really think about going to uni. I was more focused on football, and in the summer as well, like I had trials and stuff. So like I was, well, quote unquote, trying to make it really. And then that didn't really work out because obviously it wasn't good enough. So then when it comes to like football, like when you're 16, that's kind of an old age in my head to like, okay, now like, it's coming up to the time where you really should be in an academy if you are good enough. So then I decided to leave that and kind of go in, still combine my interest of like sport and then my interest for like the mind and like how it works and what makes like great athletes like Michael Jordan or Ronaldo or Messi, or you know, like what gets them to that level. So I was just trying to combine those two interests, and that's when I wanted to kind of thought of like going to uni, because when I was at college I was like the quote unquote like smartest or brightest student in the class at that time because I was achieving like distinction stars and whatever. So yeah, like, but and like other classmates, not that they were dumb or anything, it's just that they didn't see education as their pathway, because I feel like college is like the energy around it is more like, oh, I'm just doing this for the sake of it. It's not like no ambition or projection after it. Like it's unlikely that people from the sports science course really go on to do like go further in education. Like they'd rather just get a job, and that's what kind of the environment that I was around.
It's
but
more
like,
independent as well, isn't it? Like compared to like sixth form or something.
Yeah, it's definitely more independent. But it's like if I was to go, I'm just assuming here, but if I was to go A level and then I was to go and then compare it with like college, then I would say college would be more closer to uni in terms of like the scheduling and like the timetable and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I feel like if you're sixth form and you stayed there from like year 11 or whatever, then you have those relationships that you've already built. So it's like it's not this. I wouldn't say it would be the same as like a lecturer-student relationship. Because there's so much of a distance between that. So that's how it was.
Okay.
Like in college, but yeah.
So obviously like you're nearly done now, yeah. So like from your experience, what advice or like tips would you give to anyone like who wants to apply to like sports science, sports psychology, stuff like that?
I think you should do the research into like the modules that you will be studying. Because like the mistake I made was like I thought, oh wow, so like every module or every like topic or seminar is gonna have something related to sport. But in actuality, that's not the case. It's definitely more psychology based. Because I thought it'll be quite 50%, 50%, quite balanced. But we rarely do like any like sport activities or anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of hoping for. The similar way that I thought college was going to be, but then that's kind of like my naive mindset. So don't go in with that, because obviously you're there to study psychology at the core, because that's going to branch off. Even if you don't want to do sports psychology, you could still go into other fields of psychology if you wanted to do a master's or etc. So I would definitely say do the research into the models that you'll be studying. Also, have a passionate interest with sport. I think that does help, and that will kind of keep you going, especially like if you don't like that psychology aspect as that much. Like knowing that like you could go into sport and work with a team and work with players and be, maybe it's not your passion, but it's like amongst that sort of passion. I think that would be good. And yeah, just more around doing your research and preparing, because a lot of people go to union and they find out like, oh, I don't want to do this degree, and it's been a waste of time. So, and certainly at phases and throughout my 3 years that I felt like that way, but it always comes down to research and like knowing what you're going to be studying, like the coursework, the percentages. Yeah, I think that's where most of my mistakes that have come from during my time here. It's like come from the lack of research that I didn't do at the beginning.
So what was it? You just saw sports psychology, and you're like, let me just apply for it for fun. You didn't really look at like exactly what you want to study for every uni.
I didn't think it was just for fun. I just thought that for me, I wasn't going to be the guy that was going to do medicine or doctor or like I wasn't that guy, and I knew I wasn't that academic. But I knew I could do enough to get by. So I thought it would help. The same reasons why I decided to do sports science and not drop out, but don't do A level. Was the same kind of reasons I did sports psychology, because I thought there'll be a combination between sport, what I actually love, and then psychology, what I'm kind of curious in. It kind of merged together. So it was calculated, but it wasn't calculated to an extent where like I knew the ins and out of every year of like what I'll be doing, etc. Like it was kind of like a naive like mentality of like, oh, this is going to be the same thing as college, kind of, but just a bit harder.
Yeah, I think that's quite important, especially when you're applying to uni, to look at like exactly what module you're going to study per every year. Because that information is available online for every university. You can just literally check that out.
Yeah.
The same thing for me. Like when I was applying, the same thing. I didn't really look at what I was going to do.
Yeah, because I knew sports psychology was going to be the main thing that I was going to go into, because it was either sports psychology or sports science.
Yeah.
And I was thinking quite long term in a sense, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to think about the money you're going to be earning in that field as well.
Exactly, yeah.
And I felt like from the people that I knew, because I was coaching at the time as well, when they were doing degrees like sports science and stuff, like, because it was quite broad, they would have to do a master's. At the time, I felt like, oh, if I do sports psychology, there might not be as much of a requirement to do a master's, that I could go into something else, and it would stand out as well, because I don't know that many people that do sports psychology. So
it's quite a big field though. Like it's like an emerging field within sport, isn't it?
Yeah.
To study the mindset of athletes and like mental health and all that.
Yeah, and plus my boss that I worked for when I was coaching, he was a scout for Norwich, and he was saying how that's a growing field as well. So I think just the accumulation of my environment and the opinions of like other people certainly kind of played a part in like deciding sports psychology. But yeah, to answer that previous question, I didn't think of going uni at the time, no. But it's just because it came to the point where I felt like it was like kind of my last resort. Because I didn't really have anything else to do. Like I wasn't gonna like start my own business or anything like that. I didn't have that kind of capacity of income to do any of that. And I think there was an element also of like fear of missing out as well, because I knew everyone else was kind of doing uni. So then I was like, oh, I don't want to kind of be left out here and playing catch up really. So I think that's another tip. I don't think you should do uni just because you feel like everyone's ahead of you. You should do uni because you actually want to do uni, because then it's going to be even harder for you to jump from second year to third year or first year to second year. And you don't really want to be in second year having doubts about the degree because you're not going to put all your effort in third year. So like that's kind of what's happened to me. So yeah.
So obviously, like, this kind of like nicely leads on to another question. Looking back here, would you change what you studied?
There's some days where I think yeah, and then there's some days where I'm like, maybe not, because maybe I'll kind of, because there's pros and cons with every kind of degree that you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
realistically, and it's like depends on the perspective you look at it from. But I don't know. I think I would still choose the same degree, but a different uni, definitely. Because I had a unconditional from Brunel, and they offered like it was like I don't know what to call it. It's like a raffle kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like whoever got like highest grades or whatever, you're entered into this thing where you can get a scholarship, which was 6,000 off of your first year of the undergraduate degree, and they pick 5 people out of 350 people, and then at the time I was like, well, I'm not gonna get it because 350 people, 5 people. But maybe looking back, I'd have been
you don't know though, because your grades were quite good though.
Yeah. So looking back, I probably would have taken that chance and been like, and plus the reputation with Bruno as well.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that much about. I was more focused on networking and the aspect of getting my way into the industry when I was making the decision, more than what other people would say would be like uni and reputation and how it looks on your CV. But in my thinking was that if I can network, and if UCFB and this uni provides opportunity to work with people that are already within the sports industry and have the links to that and have lecturers teach me that have worked with athletes, then in my head at the time was like, oh, there's no better place to kind of be if I want to work in sport. But then that was just me like kind of succumbing to the marketing.
I think that's the case as well though, because the thing like with UCFB, the selling point that they have is like we're like sports people who set up a sports university for people interested in working in the industry, innit?
Yeah.
But I think at the time, like your decision was probably one of the best thing you could have done because of how well they market it and stuff, innit?
Well, have you felt like they're kind of misleading on the marketing to an extent?
Yeah, they definitely are, because they're kind of smart in the sense of like they said that 98% of graduates work within the sports industry. Now, to a naive person like myself at the time was like, oh, I'm guaranteed a job or something like that. But then the actual fact of the matter is you don't know what degree accounts for that percentage. It could be like a sports coaching degree. And that sports coaching degree, you can just like, I'm not saying it's not hard. Obviously, everything is quite hard to a certain extent, but the pathway is easier to get into coaching. Like I didn't have no coaching experience. I only had like a F4 level 1 from college, but I got into coaching through the school, through my previous primary school. So like they're using the degrees that have the most easiest pathways into the sports industry as the marketing selling point. Whereas psychology is such a like dark course in kind of like sports games, except because there's no direct route into it. You need to kind of know someone to put you into it. And even then there's also a lot of ethical considerations with psychology because it's a health aspect as well to it. So I definitely think it definitely was misleading in a sense.
Damn.
Well, like, what have you like looking back at your degree? Like, have you gained anything that you didn't before?
But there's definitely more knowledge of like how the mind works in psychology and the theoretical information. And for me, or the simple answer, I would say no, but that's only because like I was already kind of reading and like doing all of this stuff where I was into it was out of an intrinsic motivation, not an external motivation where I had to do it. It's something that I was already doing. I was reading like self-help psychology books already. So in my first year, it was like first year and the glimpses of my second year, there was stuff that I was reading where my lecturers didn't even know what like I was talking about. And then in my mind, then I'm like, okay, why am I paying 9,000 whatever to you for you to teach me when I know something that you don't, which you probably should know.
Exactly.
And obviously that sounds a bit arrogant and cocky. You're like, oh, I know everything, but it's not the case. It's just that I felt like, I just felt like that I didn't really learn anything that I already had known from the books that I've always like been reading. I feel like you're paying more for the degree on the paper saying that you've done this qualification than you are from actually acquiring knowledge which you can apply.
That's true though, because like, you know what you said, you're reading before you even started your degree and stuff, you're already reading about the subjects and stuff, isn't it? But like, if there's a person like, it's kind of unfair, because if there's a person who said, look, I've got a sports psychology degree, and then let's say there's another person who's like, oh, but I know everything you know, but I don't have a degree. Then obviously, like, if I'm an employer or anyone, I'd still look at the person with a degree in it, because at the end of the day, that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, and I understand that, obviously. Yeah,
it's the only way of like confirmation, isn't it?
Just say, okay, you do know what you're talking about.
Because you like, I'm not gonna, if I've got a leakage in my bathroom, I'm not gonna get a plumber that's been watching YouTube tutorials for like 3 or 4 months to come fix my shit. Like, I'm gonna get someone that's a proven psychologist. I mean, not psychologist, but like a plumber or whatever to do the work. But the only thing, I think the benefits of it was what I said before, with the industry things, of like the people that actually work in the industry. I feel like, because one of my lecturers, like, she works with the England ice hockey team, and she does like bits and bobs with like the England netball team or whatever. So there are like people with good links and stuff, like, who can give you like examples and to match the theoretical representation of the core psychology aspect of it.
Yeah.
But do I feel like I've learned anything kind of new, or like I've developed and gained knowledge on the foundation that I've already learned? Yeah. But I still feel like this stuff is like, because of the internet, like, this stuff is still out here. Like, it's just more that you can research it and stuff.
Yeah.
But the only like positive out of it is like what you said, is that I'm getting a degree out of it, and it's something I can put on paper. It's like,
yeah, cool. I think should wrap it up now.
Just like a final thing, because obviously now you're nearing the end of your degree in it. Out of 10, like thinking about everything, like your lecturers, your like the experience at uni, everything put together, what do you rate out of 10?
Probably a 5, to be honest.
5
in the middle.
That's not too bad, in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it's it is what it is, isn't it? Like, it's just that I'll be honest, and I don't feel like this uni for sports psychology is not the greatest, I would say. I feel like Bruno or something like that, in my opinion, because at least you get the reputation off of it. With this uni, the degree I'm gonna get is gonna be not from it's gonna be from UCFB, but it's gonna be from the main partnership university, which is Buckinghamshire University. But then again, no one's heard of that, so it's like there's no reputation behind it, and like, so if you're gonna get a buck for your money, really, and like have something where if it doesn't work out and you've done the degree, like, at least there's a reputation behind it where it can stand out. Because I know that sports psychology at blah 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 at this institution, I don't know if it's gonna stand out as much as it will compared to like a Bruno applicant or something, because maybe like these things that kind of do matter, when an employer sees it.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah.
Calm. Anyway, Kazza, thanks for joining the podcast, innit?
Yeah, no.
Just the first of many educational videos here at Shadow Media.
Yeah.
If you've been like at university and stuff, and you want to join, if you want to have your own segment, just shout, innit? It'd be nice to have someone.
Yeah, and any potential applicants for sports psychology or UCFB, just like, if you want to get in touch with Kazza, just drop it in the comments below.
Yeah.
And Kazza will happily answer your question.
You get me?
Yeah.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe again.
Yeah.
Peace.
Cool.